War rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and our FLGS partner, Warpfire Minis. Baron of Dice is the exclusive dice supplier for Season of War. Take a look through their incredible designs or even get your own custom dice made.
Hello and welcome to Season of War and another game of Age of Sigmar 4th edition. My name's Jordan. I'm joined by Mark today with your Soulblight Gravelords.
Hey. Yes, I'm so excited. New edition.
Yep, and another new mission as well. We are playing Scorched Earth today, so back to having an 8 objective mission again. So lots of ground to cover here. We do have the traditional scoring on this mission for 2 points for holding 1 objective, 2 for holding 2, and 2 for holding more objectives than your opponent. And then the normal 4 points for scoring your battle tactic. And then the twist for this mission, from the second battle round on, you can burn objectives in your opponent's territory if you control and contest them. But if you're the underdog, you can choose one of your objectives and enemy units are -5 to their control score for those objectives. So it can help protect some of those smaller objectives. But Mark, again, a big battle here. Do you want to take us through the Soulblight Gravelords?
Yeah, absolutely, my pleasure. So we went for the Bacal of Blood. Mainly the battle formation offers a lot of pluses. Every single vampire wizard gets a +1 to cast. And then if they charge, any vampire unit, Vargeist, Blood Knights, even the mounted guys, get +1 to wound when they charge. So very, very strong. It's 1 unit of Death Rattle Skeletons just as a screen, unit of Black Knights, which actually got a serious glow up, the cavalry, which is nice. Yeah, it's a little bit shy on numbers for sure. You're going very, very vampire heavy here. Wanted to show that different kind of battle formation. My Vampire Lord has the heroic trait, a Lash of the Sire, so picks a unit that it's in combat with and whips it, gets to move d6 inches in the hero phase, which is kind of nice. And also has the Fight Last. You can once per battle make something it's in combat with fight last. The general of my army is actually Neferata, and my honor guard is going to be these Blood Knights in the back here. They're going to have anti-monster, because I see a lot of monsters over there.
Yes, makes sense. Yeah. Well, for me, there wasn't a great battle formation for kind of a heavy Bloodthirster build like I'm running, so I actually just went for the one that gives non-monster demon units a 5 ward save after they fight. Might come up for my Fleshhounds, but it was the least irrelevant one. To take you through the army though, in addition to 3 units of 5 Fleshhounds, I do have a single Khorne in here, and then it's just 4 heroes. One of which is the little Slaughter Priest, and then obviously 3 big Bloodthirsters. We got all 3 featured on the table here today, so we can test them out. We got the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, and then the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage. So lots of power, hopefully, between all those. And the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster was my general and had both of my enhancements. So the heroic trait was Firebrand, which makes him a priest, and then he took Ardwrath, the King of Blades, which, as in the last edition, is really good. It turns off ward saves for an enemy hero.
So strong.
So will hopefully help me punch through those vampires. But Mark, with all my heroes, I was 4 drops here. You came in at just 3, so you're gonna have choice of who goes first.
Yes, that's so hard, because this game is so confusing. I think I'm gonna take first.
Okay,
yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So we'll jump into Soulblight Gravelords, turn 1.
I'm gonna go for take the flanks. I'm gonna try and do it with this unit and this unit over here. Could do my Lash of the Sire. D6 move on the Vampire Lord for 2 inches. Starting with the Vampire Lord that's in the building. So I'm gonna try and cast Cogs. It does with a 9. I'll decrease time, so that'll give me -1 to hit on Voidry, Vampire Lord, and Neferata. On to Voidry himself. He's going to try and cast Quicksilver Blood. Gets it with a 10. That's for always strikes first until my next turn.
I will try to unbind that one, which I do not.
And Neferata is going to try and cast Dark Mist on Blood Knights. That's cocked. That's on 8, does go off. So they're unrendable now. Dark Mist sadly can't go on monsters anymore, but that's why you bring Blood Knights. She's also going to try and cast Quicksilver Swords. And she does on an 11. That's it for my casting.
All right, I will spend a command point here, Mark, for magical intervention, because I'm just going to try and chant a spell with my Slaughter Priest, and he'll just go for the Hexdorger Strolls.
Makes sense.
He actually does get those off. I wasn't expecting to, so that'll go off. I was thinking I was just going to bank the summoning points, but hey, I'll take the manifestation.
Okay, that's it for movement. On to charges. Starting with those Black Knights. 6 ain't gonna cut it. Let's see what we can do with Vargheists. 7. Oh, okay, sweet. We'll jump into combat. Starting with those Vargheists. 10 attacks. Crit 2 hits. No crits. 2 hits. 2 wounds.
6 up saves. Save 1.
2 damage.
Wards. Nope, you take down a Fleshhound. And then the Fleshhounds will fight you back. 6 hits and 3s. So that'll be 4 at no rend.
5s. Saving 2. 6 ups. Save 1. 1 going through.
While the Soulblight Gravelords are cautious with their main force, they successfully strike at their enemy's flank, claiming ground and gaining an early advantage.
End of turn, because I killed something with my Vargheist, I do get to heal.
Oh, nice.
2d3, which heals back up to full.
That's all. 2d3 is good.
Yeah, if you kill something, it's 2d3. If you just fight, it's 1d3, which is kind of nice. And I will have hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and I will have my tactic.
Yeah, because my Fleshhounds are beasts, maximum control score of 1, so you do take that objective.
Yeah, playing a little bit coy here. Getting some endless spells off, seeing how things are going, kind of creating a bit of a castle over here, trying to get a little bit farther away from all of those bloodthirsters, but you know, kind of playing off the side, off the flanks, trying to grab objectives, you know, do soul-blighty things, I guess, in a way, playing a little bit more cautious. There was a part of me was just, let's send Voidry in after I got the fight first spell off, but I think I'm okay. I got the spells I needed off, which was like Unrendable is going to be huge. For clearing out Blood Knights is going to be rather challenging, and then, you know, having fight first is definitely a deterrent. So I think I've sufficiently created a situation where you don't want to come here.
Yeah, exactly. And you took a lead without having to take risks. So that's a good spot to be in, where you've kind of, you know, putting the ball in my court and forcing me to kind of get outside of my comfort zone a little bit to start doing things. Yeah, Mark, I guess I'll just lead us.
Khorne.
Yeah, Blades of Khorne, turn 1. All right, so my battle tactic here is going to be seize the center. So taking a bit of a risk. My Slaughter Priest is going to jump into the terrain piece for +1 to chant. And then the Slaughter Priest is going to use Blood Sacrifice, which is an ability now. So on a D3, he's looking for a 2-up, which I get. So I'm going to get 1 Blood Tithe point there and do D3 mortal wounds to my Fleshhounds. For 3, they get the ward. They save 2 of them.
Nice.
And then my Slaughter Priest is going to chant for Blood Boil. So looking for a 3-up because he's in the train. He gets a 1, so he's going to lose, not that he had any points, but that's going to fail. Then my Bloodthirster, who's a priest now, is going to chant for the Wrath Axe, looking for a 4-up. We failed that on a 1 as well, so no prayers off today, and that'll be it for my hero phase.
I'm going to do a magical intervention. I'm going to try and do the Pendulum here from Neferata. I'm -1, but I also have a +1 because of the Bakal, so this should be on a 6. And it's a double 1. So miscast. Oh no! D3 for 2. 6 is up wards, nothing. She suffers 2.
All right, well then I'll just jump into the movement phase. And then I'm going to use At the Double on my Tordrath. All right, Mark, that's the end of my movement phase.
I think I want to redeploy here. Black Knights are going to redeploy. 6 inches, yeah.
And then I do have a little bit of shooting here, so we're going to go with a Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster into the Vargheists. 2d6 attacks for 9. So it'll be 2s and 3s. 5 at rend 1 damage into the Vardeists.
Okay, 6s. 6 up wards. Made another. So 3 damage taken.
And then the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury is going to use his lash against the skeletons. So 4 attacks, 3s, and 3s. 1 at rend 1.
6 up. No.
D3 damage for 1.
6 up. We made it.
All right, then I'm going to do some charging. And the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury is going to use Beckoning the Hunt on himself to give himself a 3d6 charge.
Nice.
For a good old 12. And then I will charge the Bleeding Skulls for a 6. And then lastly, the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster. That's a 7. And we'll see if the Fleshhounds can make a 9. Close, an 8.
Close. Very close.
Not going to reroll that, and then we're into the combat phase.
I'll attempt a countercharge. With Neferata, only a 7. She's not getting it.
All right, then in the combat phase, the Bloodthirster, the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, gets to pick 3 non-unique Bloodthirsters, which I only have 3, but there's only 2 in combat, and they'll each get +1 attack, which is pretty good. Yep. And I am going to start off with the Wrath of Khorne, putting all his attacks into the Vardeists. So we got 7 attacks now, 3s, 2s. So that'll be 3 at rend 2, 4 damage each.
Straight through. 4 damage each, 12 damage. Let's see it. Oh, only 1. Yeah, they're dead.
And that'll put us up to 2 Blood Tithe.
Fighting back, I guess. I got skellies. No rend, nothing like that. 4s. And 4s. 3 for me. No rend.
4 up saves. All 3 go through.
Yeah.
And we do have a nice 5 up ward now. We won't save any though. We take 3 damage. And then I will fight back with this Bloodthirster and tag the objective. Then he might as well use an all-out attack. So on 2s and 2s. So that'll be 5 at rend 2 for 4 damage each. Casual 20.
Casual 20. 6 ups. This is totally fine. 1. So they're dead.
And that is going to be another Blood Tithe. Then I'll fight you with my manifestation against your manifestation. So 4 attacks on 2s and 4s. We got 2, no rend.
Nothing.
D3 each for 4.
Oh, not enough. 2 health left.
After tagging the Quicksilver swords, they in turn pile in to stab at the Bloodthirster.
And you can't make wards against these. 4 crits. Ooh. So 2 at rend 1.
I'll save one of those. And I get no wards, so that's a big 5 damage.
Striking out in retaliation, the Blades of Khorne put their speed and ferocity on full display, both reclaiming old and taking new territory while they do.
All right, so that is the end of my turn here. I will likewise score hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and complete my battle tactic for 10 points. Now my Bloodthirster that went up definitely took a lot more damage than I hoped he would.
Yeah.
Obviously, courtesy of the manifestation. I could have maybe not engaged it, but I wanted to take it out. Again, was it reliable for me to? Probably not. So in hindsight, realizing that you could swing back into the Bloodthirster, probably not the right choice as we saw, but hindsight's 20/20. But otherwise, I did get 3 Blood Tithe this turn from killing 2 of your units and generating 1 with my Slaughter Priest. So
definitely hold 1, hold 2, hold more.
Yeah.
That Blood Tide's gonna be very useful.
Yes,
Yeah.
So I'll have some options throughout the game. But Mark, first we'll go into priority for round 2.
Let's see it. I roll a 3.
That's a 5, so I have choice. And obviously battle tactics being a thing that are important, I'm going to give you the turn, Mark.
Sounds good.
We'll jump into Soulblight Gravelords, turn 2.
Alrighty, Soulblight, turn 2. So my battle tactic will be mark for the grave. I'm gonna try and kill some doggos. I got my lash, I'll do that. Lash the Blood Knights for d6, for 1. I'll move up a mighty inch. On to casting, Voidry is just gonna continue to try and cast Quick Blood. And he does not get it with a 5. Sad, loses his fight first. Neferata is gonna try and cast Dark Mist again. She gets it on an 11. Let's go.
And Neferata's Dark Mist will once again make the Blood Knights ethereal.
And she's going to try and cast... I'm going to try and cast the Pendulum. And I do with a 12.
Can't do nothing about that.
So that's it for Neferata. My last cast with my Vampire Lord is going to be Vile Transference. I'm getting a 7 on that.
Might as well try the Unbind here, which I fail.
Okay, I'm gonna pick the doggos. It's a dice for each doggo. On 6s mortals, I'll pick those doggos in the back there. So 6s, 1 mortal wound.
Ward save, I save it.
Oh, nicely done. Okay, yeah, that's the end of my hero phase. On to movement. Vampire, 3 up. Let's see if he teleports. He does. On to charges. Actually, on to shooting. Shooting with the Prince Voidry. He has D6 shots. For 4 shots, 2 hits, 2 wounds.
Just going right through.
4 damage.
All right, ward saves. And I save 1, but you do still kill a Fleshhound.
Now for real for charging. So charging here with the Blood Knights here, getting a 7. That's it for my charges. On to pile-ins. Start with the Blood Knights, because they really want to get that +1 to damage. So 8 in, 3 attacks each on the riders. I'm going to all-out attack them. So it'll be on 2s and 2s. +1 damage on the charge. 15 saves for me at Ren 1.
6s, I save 1.
2 damage piece.
Ward saves first round. You already took him down. So Fleshhound's down.
Nice. I forgot, we had fighting over here.
Yep.
Shit, I should have gone first with that.
Yeah, so it will mean my Bloodthirster gets to fight you back. And that'll be 5 attacks at Ren 2, 4 damage.
An ungodly amount, and yes, you will absolutely kill it. Not a problem at all.
Not needing to get too bloody to see their dark machinations achieved, the vampiric nobles of the Soulblight Gravelords enforce their rule on the eastern flank, prepared for any foolish demons to try and test them.
Okay, so scoring for me, I do have hold 1, hold 2, hold more. I did accomplish my mark for the grave tactic for 10. At the end of this turn, I can burn one of my opponent's objectives. Because the nature of Soulblight, I can be anywhere I want to be. It doesn't make sense for me to start burning objectives here. I generally want you to be as far away from me as possible or have to stretch to come in. So I'm kind of okay with the way things are at this moment. So there's made no sense to do that. Could have brought in 5 skeletons, but I think I'll save that for end of your movement phase maybe to try and bring some back. And overall, really happy. At the end of the turn, Prince Voidry, if he's wholly within 12 of any vampire unit that has killed a unit, he can give one of the 3 buffs. This is really cool. What you used to get with Castellai as an allegiance ability is now on his War Scroll. And it only works on non-monster vampires. So I can choose those Blood Knights to have either one of these effects, +2 to move, +1 to attacks, or +1 to damage. And I think I'm definitely going to go for that. +1 to damage.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's so good.
Yeah. So they're now going to be +1 to damage for the rest of the game.
Well marked that another Fleshhounds unit down. We haven't gotten into the thicker things with combat yet, but another good turn of storing. You got your 10 points. So I guess that'll see us just head over into Blades of Khorne turn. We'll jump into Blades of Khorne turn 2. All right, for my battle tactic here, I'm going to go for attack on 2 fronts. So I have to take 2 objectives I did not control, and you have to have controlled one of them. You control all the ones I don't, so that should be, as long as I can take 2 more, that'll be achieved. And then in the rest of the hero phase, the Slaughter Priest is going to try and chant for the Wrath Axe, which he'll fail on a 1 and lose all his summoning points, of which he had none. And then my Bloodthirster Priest is just going to chant for Unholy Flames. He'll get that off, or he'll fail that on 4 actually, so he's just going to get to bank those points. And then I will spend another command point to rally my Bloodthirster.
Makes sense.
And he heals 3 more. And my Slaughter Priest is going to go for his Blood Sacrifice, which he does, so he'll actually do D3 mortal wounds to himself for 3, and he'll generate an extra Blood Tithe. And that's going to be it for my hero phase.
I'll do Magical Intervention, try and cast Quicksilver Swords from Neferata. She does with a 6 because she gets +1.
All right, and then on to movement.
Enjoying the battle? Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and share it with your friends.
And that's going to be it for my movement phase.
These 5 skeletons are just going to go outside of 9. They can do this now, any phase, and just got to be wholly within 6 of any terrain feature. There we go, we got 5 skellies.
And then we'll jump into charging. I'm just going to charge with my Khorne. He's going to make an 8, perfect, Khorne's number. And then into combat, my Khorne is going to try and stop the skeletons from using commands. He rolls a 1, so he fails that. But I am going to activate with him first and use all-out attack.
I'm going to use alt defense and pray that they survive.
So that'll be 4 at rend 1.
Saving these on 5s. Save 1.
So 2 damage each.
6 damage, might be enough. Let's see it, 6s. Oh, but we make 2 of them. So there's 1 left, which is very important. That lonely skeleton's going to fight back. 4s, nothing. So end of turn, really cool. Skeletons bring back D3 for 3, so they just clamber back up.
Looking to keep pace with their undead foe, the Blades of Khorne sought to capture an unguarded objective, but were caught unprepared by their enemy's return from the grave.
All right, so Blades of Khorne turn 2. We got the Soulblight tricks like we're used to from 3rd edition. Getting in my way here, and that's big because it's going to mean we're not tied on points anymore. I made a play on one of the objectives to get the hold more. Mark, you brought back 5 skeletons, so I needed to kill them with the Khorne. Got in, did 6 damage, made 2 wards. They survived, and then brought. If it was just 1, that would have been fine. So actually, there's pros and cons to the skeleton's recursion ability changing. But here's one pro. Is they wouldn't have been able to recur any models at the start of the combat, and they would have you would have been stuck on 1.
Yep.
But here, because it's after you take, at the end of the turn, you were able to recur back up to 4, which even if you just got 2 would have been enough, because the Khorne's only worth two bodies on the objective. I also failed my ability to turn off your commands, could have had an impact with getting 1 more through.
Huge, yeah. Not having that 5-up save.
And as we said, that denies me hold more, because I do hold 4 objectives still. So hold 1 and 2, and that's also going to fail me in my battle tactic actually for not taking 2 objectives from you. So could have also sent the Fleshhounds over there, but bodies wise, I was worried about opening up a counter charge from Neferata. So you could have not brought back skeletons. If I had more units, you make an easier counter charge with Neferata, and the same thing happens. Because I could have only maxed with the Fleshhounds counted as 3 there.
Yep.
So really, it wouldn't have done anything for me in this case. But that's big. It'll mean I only store 4 points here, Mark. And Soulblight now is at a bit of a lead as we head into priority for round 3.
Yes. 3.
That's going to be a 4. And again, especially falling behind points, I can't afford to take the turn, so we'll send it off into Soulblight Gravelords, turn 3.
All right, so my battle tactic's going to be Inevitable Demise, one of those death ones. 2 units have to be wholly within my opponent's territory and more than 9 away from all enemy units. I'm going to try and banish the skulls from the Vampire Lord. Getting a 12.
They are banished.
Okay, we're going to go for a Vile Transference from Nephi on an 11. The Hounds, 6s. Taking 1 mortal wound.
And I suffer it.
So she gets to heal D3 for 1. Second cast will be Prison of Grief for a strike class on the Khorne. Getting it on a 7. And then I'll go for a fight first with Voidry, and he gets it on an 8.
I will try to unbind that one, but I'll fail it on a 7.
Nice. So that's the end of my phase.
All right, I will spend a command point for Magical Intervention and try to chant for the Wrath Axe with my Slaughter Priest. Which we'll get off this time. Yay! There we go.
Grab an objectives times. Movement. Let's see what I do with my Vampire Lord. On a 3-up, he'll get to teleport. I don't really know where he'll teleport to, but he does. He'll teleport to exactly where he was.
Don't forget you can get access to 4 extra battle reports every month by supporting the channel through our YouTube membership. Hit the join button below the video to learn more.
I am going to redeploy here with my Khorne, and he's just removed 2 inches. And I am going to spend a Blood Tithe point to murder lust him as well for another 3 inches.
Oh, okay. 5 inches away. That's pretty brutal. Into shooting. Into the Khorne, D6 shots. For 1 shot. No opportunity. All right, so nothing from the shooting from Prince Voidry. Onto charges. I guess starting with the swords. Let's see what we can get with those swords. Getting a 10. Hoping we get something like that for our charge with our Blood Knights. Blood Knights, getting a 9. It looks like it's going to be enough. All right, so that's the end of my charge phase into combat. Since he has fight last on him, I'll start with the swords over here.
The Quicksilver Swords manage to take down 3 Flesh Hounds, then the Blood Knights easily run down the Khorne.
End of turn, I gotta return D3 Skellies for 3. I only have 2 dead, so 2 come back.
Punishing Khorne's lackeys for daring to cross into their domain, the Soulblight Gravelords continue to whittle down the Dark God's minions, putting the pressure on for them to respond in force.
And I can burn one of my opponent's objectives. I don't, again, see a need to burn any objective here. So I'm just gonna keep the objectives as they are. I do get another benefit here. So now not only are they +1 to damage, they will also be +1 to attacks.
Nice.
Racking it up. And then for scoring, I'm looking at 8 points right now. I just hold 1, hold 2. Unfortunately not hold more, but my battle tactic for 8.
Yeah, putting me in a bit of a pickle now. It's obviously, you've been castled up, not giving me much opportunities, but we're gonna have to do something since we're behind in points. In March, I guess that'll just see us jump into Blades of Khorne, turn 3. All right, so my battle tactic this turn is gonna be Do Not Waver. So I have to fight with 2 units and have none of my units slain. Then for chanting and manifestations, I'm gonna try and actually banish a manifestation with my Bloodthirster. And he's gonna go for the Quicksilver Swords for a 5. Which won't do it. And then I'm gonna rally my Slaughter Priest before he kills himself. So he will rally 2 wounds back. So he's got 1 on him. And then he's going to go for Blood Sacrifice on himself, which he'll take those 2 mortal wounds back, but I'll get a Blood Tithe out of it. And then he's gonna chant for Unholy Flames, which he gets off on a 5 because of the +1 from the Shrine. And he's gonna give +1 rend to my Unfettered Fury Bloodthirster.
Uh-oh.
And that's it for my hero phase.
I'm gonna spend a CP and of course, magical intervention. Neferata's gonna try and cast Dark Mist on the Blood Knights. And she does not get it, unfortunately.
All right, and then we're gonna jump into movement. And I'll start off by using At the Double to run my Insensate Rage Bloodthirster 6 inches for a total of 18. And then, still in my movement phase, I'm gonna spend a Blood Tithe point to Murder Lust with my Insensate Rage Bloodthirster to get a 3-inch move and put him into combat.
Uh-oh.
And that's it for my movement phase. And then in shooting, we're gonna pull out our whips and lashes. And we'll start off with the Wrath of Khorne, who actually gets its Hellfire Breath into the Quicksilver Swords. 2d6 attacks for 11. 2s and 3s. And there'll be 5 going through at rend 1 damage.
So looking for 6s. Save 1. And then I got a 6 up ward. I made 3. 1 wound.
And then the Unfettered Fury Bloodthirster is going to try and go into it as well. 4 attacks, 3s and 3s. There'll be 3 at rend 1.
Looking for 6s again. Made 1.
For 2d3 damage for just 3.
Takes all 3. Alive with 2 wounds remaining.
And then into charges. The Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury is going to give himself the 3d6 charge. And he'll get an 8.
So I'm gonna spend 2 CP. I'm gonna try counter charge here with my Vampire with Prince Voidry. And he's getting an 8.
And at the start of combat, the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster will give an extra attack to himself, well, all 3 Bloodthirsters, so in case they're in combat. And then you do have strikes first, so you'll get to start off combat.
Yeah, I'll get to start it. I'll spend a CP for all out attack here.
Prince Vordry splits his attacks, taking out both the Wrath Axe and the Fleshhound.
And then I'll go into fighting with the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage. So we'll be on 3s and 2s. So that'll be 3 at Rend 3, because he's anti-infantry.
I'm saving these on 6s. Nothing.
15 damage.
He's dead.
And that's a Blood Tithe. And then I'm going to fight with the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, and he's going to pile in and split its attacks between the 2 manifestations. And then I'm going to use all-out attack here. So it'll be 3 attacks into the Twitch Silver Swords, 4 into the Aether Void Pendulum. So 2s. 2s. So 8 damage into the axe, or the pendulum.
Really needing to spike this? Almost, but it is dead.
And then into the Twitch Silver Swords, 4 at Rend 2.
Straight dead.
After Prince Vordry slays an out-of-position lesser demon, the Blades of Khorne find themselves falling even further behind when they had instead hoped to be able to close ground.
And that's going to be it for Blades of Khorne turn 3. It could have been a great turn, but just not thinking about the Fleshhound. There was a world in which I was going to charge that Wrath Axe, decided not to. Obviously having my Fleshhound right behind didn't pan out well, because that denies me my tactic with you having killed a unit mark. So I'm going to get 6 points here, but I'm going to be, rather than catching up 2 points from being behind 6, I'm now going to be behind 8. So looking pretty dire here. Mark will jump into priority for round 4.
Let's see it.
That's a 3.
That's a 1.
All game, I'd almost rather you win it to force you to, like, so you could actually
Force me to actually take the turn?
Take the turn or give it to me.
Or just give it to you, yeah.
Which is always better than me having to take it.
Yeah.
So, but Mark, even here, I legitimately can't give away the turn, because you just get to whip your whole castle in.
Yeah.
And then we're fighting on your terms. So it's going to drop me behind more points, but I think I have to take the turn and hope I can take an advantage on the table. So let's jump into Blades of Khorne turn 4.
Let's see it.
All right, I'll have no battle tactic here, of course, and I'm just going to jump into prayers and stuff. So the Bloodthirster is going to chant to summon the Bleeding Icon. So anything but a 1 here, because I already had 4 points, so I'll get that on a 9 total. And then the Slaughter Priest is going to rally himself again, healing himself back to full, but then he'll try and not blood boil, but he will fail his ability for blood sacrifice, so he's back to full, but no extra blood tithe.
End of my hero phase, I'm going to spend 1 CP again for magical intervention. Just Neferata keeps on trying to hope to go and give her blood knights a dark mist. Let's see it. We do actually get it, because we get +1. So we do get Dark Misted.
And then we'll jump into movement. And then in my movement phase, I am also going to spend a Blood Tithe point for Murder Lust and just tag you within 3. And that's the end of my movement.
I'll do a redeploy with my unit of Black Knights. Maybe I can make them survive a turn, who knows? And with a 1-inch, probably not.
And then I'm going to get into shooting. We'll start off with the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster with 2d6 attacks for 4 into, obviously, Vordry here. 2s, 3s, which he's going to completely miss. And then the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury will completely miss as well, so no shooting. I will then do charges. The Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury is just going to give himself the 3d6-inch charge, and he'll make it in. And then the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury makes it in as well. And then at the start of the combat, my Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster just use his Rampage, which is going to be 8 dice, and 4 ups are mortal wounds here to Vordry.
Scary.
That's gonna be 5.
Saving 1 for taken.
And then the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirsters also do give an extra attack to all the Bloodthirsters. And because of Ardath, King of Blades, I would have had to say this first technically, but I would target Vordry so he can't make any ward saves here.
Totally makes sense.
And then Mark, you have fights first, so you get to start off combat.
I'm gonna go for an all-out attack.
Well, on an 8 up, the Wrath or the Bleeding Icon will stop you.
Oh, 8. Great.
Which I fail, so you can.
Everything into the healthier Bloodthirster that's in the back there, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s because I did not charge you. That's going to be 3 for me at Ren 2.
6s, or all the 3 go
2
through?
damage each. Then we got 3s, 2 hits, and 2s, 2 more at Ren 2.
6s, both go through.
3 damage piece, 7 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. Got 4 more for me at Ren 1 here.
5 up saves. I'll save 2 of those.
So 4 damage.
So that'll be 16 damage into the Bloodthirster. I gotta make some 5 up ward saves here. Which I'll make 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh my!
So he will take 9 damage, but still alive is the main point. And then I'll fight with the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage into your Black Knights.
The Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage lives up to its name and delivers a total of 23 damage to the Black Knights.
So 23 ward saves in total.
Oh my. Looking for a lot of 6s here. Not enough. And they're dead.
And then we got the 2 Bloodthirsters into Vordry. They each get +1 rend for anti-hero and anti-monster respectively. So we'll go with the Unfettered Fury first. 2s. And that'll be just 1 at rend 3.
I'm at a 3 up save, so I need a 6. Goes through.
4 damage here. And then the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster is going to use all out attack and hopefully do a little better. 3s and 2s. And that'll be 4 at rend 3.
Oh, needing 6s. Getting 1, not enough.
So that'll be 12 damage and again, no ward saves.
So he's dead. No, before he's able to heal. Oh, so unfortunate.
Striking a strong blow to the vampire's leadership, the Blades of Khorne take down their biggest threat and claim much of the battlefield, but there are certainly still powerful forces they'll have to contend with.
And that's going to be it for my turn. So again, needed to do something here. If I'm taking the punch from the Blood Knights and Vordry, it's going to be tough and letting you store well. Here now, you're more limited on units, though I hoped not to take down the Blood Knights, or sorry, Black Knights, because I didn't want you to return them on an objective, which you're going to be able to do now.
For sure.
Is what it is. But now you have a bit more of trouble balancing tactics versus killing stuff versus storing objectives. So that was my hope that that would give me a better chance, because with the changes to priority, now no longer like you can't use it to combat. It doesn't help you come back into the game. So it's more of a struggle when you're behind. But Mark, you'll still have a 2-point lead, but obviously your turn to play out. So
yeah, I got a lot of objectives I need to grab.
Yeah.
And not a lot of space to do it, for sure.
Yes, sir. So yeah, we'll just jump into
Soulblight Gravelords, turn 4. We're gonna go for Take Their Land. It's the easiest tactic option for me available. So I'm gonna pick that house there. So we're gonna go for casting. I'm gonna try and cast again Dark Mist on this unit. And we get it with a 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going back on the Blood Knights. Second thing I'm gonna try and do is I'm going to try and banish the Bleeding Icon. Bleeding Icon is banished. Begone. No other casts. That's it for my hero phase.
I am just spending a command point for Rally to heal my general up. And we're at 4 wounds back. So he's got 5 taken.
And I'm going to get into movement. End of turn, spend my last CP to bring back Black Knights. Woohoo! That's the end of my movement phase.
All right, I am going to spend a command point to redeploy with my Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster. Only 2. And I'll spend the Blood Tithe point as well to Murderlust.
To run away, I see. Shooting, no shooting. Charges. Needing a 6 with those Blood Knights. And that will not get me that 6.
And no CP
and
left?
no CP left to reroll, so not in a great spot. Neferata will try and go in. She's also not going to make it with a 3. We're just going to stare there, and we're going to stare at each other. Not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, I would have loved to make my charges and have this big dramatic moment of lifting 2 Bloodthirsters. That would have been amazing, but unfortunately, it happens. You lose, you don't get your charges. I know people probably wouldn't wonder if I could have increased time. You actually can't. It's in your hero phase.
So you weren't close enough.
And I wasn't close enough. You needed to be within 3 to be able to increase time. I know that's something that people are going to be curious about. So there was no way for me to get that reroll charge, and the CP was very well spent just trying to, obviously, grab
a battle tactic.
Grab a battle tactic, grab another objective.
And I was hoping to, or I had a chance to deny it with the Murder Lust and the redeploy. If I had made a 6 on the redeploy, I could have moved 9 inches and denied that tactic. So that would have been huge. Would have given me a real good chance to come back.
For sure.
But Mark, you'll still score 8 points here for hold 2 and your battle tactic.
Yeah.
And then that'll see us head into priority for round 5.
That's a 4.
I went first, so I do win ties. And of course, there's no reason not to take it here and do everything we can. So we'll just jump into Blades of Khorne, turn 5. All right, so my battle tactic this turn is going to be take their land. So I'm going to choose the woods, and I just have to control it, which is not possible to fail unless they run away from it. And then for my hero phase, my Slaughter Priest is going to try and generate a Blood Tithe, which he does, and he'll take 3 mortal wounds. And then my Bloodthirster is going to try and chant for Witchbane Curse, which he will fail, but bank those points. And then my Slaughter Priest can just chant for the Het Scourger Strolls, which he'll get on a 6. And that's going to be it for my hero phase.
Okay, again, magical intervention. I've done it all game. I'm going to spend a CP, and I'm going to go for Prison of Grief. This is for Fight Last on your Bloodthirster there. And I get it off on an 8.
I still do get an Unbind from my Slaughter Priest, so we'll try. He gets a 7, so you get it.
So Fight Last on that Bloodthirster.
And then we'll just head into movement. And I'll use that to double here with my Flesh Hounds to auto run 6. And in my movement phase, I am to spend a Blood Tithe point to Murder Lust my Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage, just to tag the Blood Knights on the edge of 3. So next into shooting, and we'll go with the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, shooting at your Black Knights for 6 shots, 2s, and 3s. That'll be 3 at round 1.
3, save 1, 6s. 1 takes 2 wounds.
And then the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury is going to shoot at your skeletons. 3s. 3s. That'll be 2 at round 1.
Rend 1 goes through.
For 2 damage.
2 dead.
And then in the charge phase, the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster is going to give himself the 3 6-inch charge. And he'll get a 13. And my Unfettered Fury Bloodthirster is going to make it an 11.
All right, might as well here. I'm unrendable. So I'm going to spend 2 CP, and I'm going to try and countercharge with Neferata. And she gets a 7. I don't think that's going to be enough.
So then into combat, I'm going to start off with my Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage and put all the attacks into the Blood Knights. And the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster is going to give an extra attack to all the Bloodthirsters. And we'll go for all-out attack here. That'll be 4 at round 2.
But I am unrendable,
Yes,
so I'll be
you are.
saving these on 3s. Please save these on 3s. We save all but 1.
So
One
it'll
going
be
through.
4 damage and then another 2 mortal wounds.
I take all.
So we'll
I
kill-
lose 2 Blood Knights. Since that Bloodthirster there is fighting last, I'm going to fight with these guys over here before they meet their inevitable demise.
The returned Black Knights are only able to deal a single wound to the Bloodthirster before they're effortlessly sent back to the grave.
Blood Knights are piled in, and they're doing all of their attacks into the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, one with the fight last. Spending the CP for all out attack here.
And I will do all out defense.
Hitting on 2s. Wounding on 3s. 18 saves for me, neg 1.
All right, so I'll be back to my 4-ups. And he'll save a good bunch of those and actually die to the exact wound. So he dealt 14 damage.
Didn't fight with the horses, but yeah.
Needed a better save roll there, but yes, you're correct. Yeah. And then that's the end of my turn. Name of the game here is I'm trying to deny everything I can. I got my hold 1, hold 2, hold more. I completed my battle tactic to control that objective, so with the terrain piece. So I score my 10 points here, but it just came down to like, can I deny? How much can I deny? And I was trying to do everything I can. Yeah, so little options, but Mark, you're gonna have some opportunities. I tried to limit the opportunities though for battle tactics, so that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can head into Soulblight Gravelords turn 5.
Exciting. All right, so not a lot of options here, but I'm gonna try and do a tactic. I'm gonna try Slay the Entourage. These 4 were in the Generals group, so I'm gonna try and kill a bunch of doggos with Neferata. So I'm just going to cast File Transference on here, getting it on an 8.
We'll try to unbind that one. We fail it.
2 mortals.
And you'll kill a Fleshhound.
Heal me back D3 for 2, back up to full. Anything else? I will increase the flow of time for reroll charges. So that's the end of my hero phase.
All right, I will spend a command point to rally my Fleshhounds.
Let's see it.
Only 1 4-up. So,
No.
So no Fleshhounds back. I was hoping for 2.
So on to movement phase.
All right, I am going to spend a command point to redeploy my Fleshhounds. Let's get something big this time. A 1. And I'm also going to spend 8 blood type points, not on a murder lust here, but to bring back a Bloodthirster.
I do got reroll charges because I am still wholly within 12 of this thing. So the cogs. So let's see what Neferata can do. That's an 11. I think she's in.
Yep.
Yeah, she's hungry. She hasn't been eating all game. On to combats. Neferata hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. So 2 for me at Ren 2. 1 damage each. 3 attacks, 2s, and 2s because she charged. 2 for me, 2 damage each there. And then hitting on 4s. Nothing on the mount. They were Ren 3, 3 damage each.
So 6 damage through here. I need to make a single ward save to keep a Fleshhound alive. I made 1.
Awesome.
So no point in me fighting here or anything, Mark. It won't matter.
I'll be able to heal it at the end of the turn.
Yes. But that's going to be it for the turn.
Just holding 1, holding 2. I don't get my Slay the Entourage, which would have been nice to get that tactic, for sure. Just goes to show you, Neferata's really swingy with 4s to hit and 2s to wound.
Yeah. I was set up on my turn to try and deny your points as much as possible. And there was a world in which, now, the Fleshhounds, if I had gotten further away with the Fleshhounds, rallied a couple more back, denying the tactic was likely, but I really wanted to deny the charge too, so you didn't get on that point. If I had rolled something that gets 6 and you don't get the charge, which is very possible.
Yeah.
That could have denied that, and then it's still 2 points, and it's a 2-point game in the end.
Yeah.
Especially with, that's why I brought the Bloodthirster down to deny that. You made the charge anyways, so the Bloodthirster accounted for nothing, but.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was really cool to see. A lot of things that I wasn't expecting. Some things that I were, I guess, were like Bloodthirsters.
They actually hit now, like they should.
Absolutely. They're so very strong at hitting. There's no question. The -1 to hit is what kept me alive so much of the time. Being able to have -1 to hit from the cogs meant one Bloodthirster went in and you only got 1 attack through. Luckily there was a contingency there, but it's interesting to see that there was a world where Voidry lives, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that that would have happened going into this game. I generally thought I'd lose a lot more than I did.
But that's why you played it coyly, like
Yeah.
with taking first, again, you knew you had the advantage of priority on your side of if I take a double, I'm losing points. And you kept castled where there was really not an opportunity for me to get in.
For sure. Who knew that like we'd be in an edition right now where you want to take first? And I really do feel like you want to take first. I don't like having the opportunity for the double. I almost like the idea of
Your opponent can give it to you, but you still score.
and just being able to like score early, right?
Yep.
Have Soulblight now has so many of these units. Yeah, they're not as fast as they once were, but they're still pretty fast. I was expecting to see not a lot of hitting, but surprising amount. Like Voidry and Neferata combined make Blood Knights nigh unkillable. Like it's really impressive to see. They're 30 wounds, unrendable, and then with all of those buffs, +1 to attack, +1 to damage. It's like you feel unbeatable with that unit. It's really cool to see.
Looking back at the game, so it ended up being a 4-point game, I believe.
Yeah.
Where the battle tactic denial, like there was the one I failed, when the skeletons came back, and which that I couldn't control so much. But the one that I'm kicking myself for is the flesh hound that I left too close to the counter charge into the manifestation and lost him. So that one, that's obviously hurt me there. But dropping tactics is always painful, and then so dropping 2 plus having to give 1 up is basically 14 or 12 points lost there, which is just too painful to come back from. And to be fair, we nearly did it with Khorne, right?
When you're playing against Khorne too, it's really tricky. If people are wondering, like I kept outside of 6 here with the Blood Knights because I knew it takes literally just one Murder Lust, and now I'm not able to charge. Now I'm not getting my charge bonuses off. So that was really putting it outside of 3 meant I made 2 3-inch charges, and now all of a sudden I can't get in for that turn. But it's kind of that's the challenge when you're facing against Khorne. You go, can I afford to do this?
You're trying to guess what your opponent might do with the points.
And blood tides everything.
There's some really cool abilities here. Now I generated a lot throughout the game.
Yeah.
Did a ton of Murder Lust, and the combination of that and redeploy was really spicy. It didn't really amount to too much here, but that bring the Bloodthirster back. There's different, Brastal Meteor was always a potential.
Oh yeah.
So there's definitely lots of good tech and tricks with Khorne still. And as we saw, Soulblight bringing units back. I think the Black Knights, not only a glow up on their profile, but such a good unit here. Those like fast skirmishing units are amazing in this game right now.
15 wounds for 5 is so good.
And doing 2 damage on the charge,
2
fast for tactics. Also though, bringing back 3 is amazing. That scored you, at least 4 points here for the tactic, if not,
6 actually.
Yeah,
6
because the objective
as well.
Yeah, that would have been.
So it's a huge swing to be able to bring them back, and the fact that it's guaranteed is such a big deal. Like you just.
It does take a resource though, and that feels a little better where your opponent's you're not automatically getting them. There, you were giving up a reroll charge, and then you failed your charges, right? So that has an impact.
It does definitely. I love it so much more because you feel like tactical about it.
It is much deeper in that regard, the game in general.
Because so much of the time where it was like when you even had grand strats, I can even tell you that I don't miss having that grand strat, right? It felt like something I had to do, and you were on this timer every time playing Soulblight going, am I going to roll my 3 up? Am I going to roll my 3 up? Am I going to bring back enough units to be able to score Empire of Corpses? And I feel like a lot of people feel that way about the grand strat. Having that gone has been so nice. Endless spells are incredibly useful.
Yep.
Having -1 to hit aura this means Neferata sitting at a -2 to hit. Voidry, any wizard within 12. I think this group of endless spells feels great. The pendulum felt a little bit not very impactful because it can't charge, it doesn't fight, it just
it's
goes
pretty
over.
easy to avoid.
It's pretty easy to avoid. I mean, that's been the only one that I've been a little disappointed with. The Quicksilver swords though
were amazing.
Amazing. The amount of carnage that they delivered on their own, like they did 6 damage to a Bloodthirster. They did. They killed 4 hounds. So much utility there when you have And it's really cool. You think of them as like summoning units, which is really interesting to have for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, between these two armies, though, it made for a great game here, Mark.
For sure.
There's still a lot left on the table. We got 3 Bloodthirsters, we got the Blood Knights and Neferata, so a lot left. A lot of stuff died, a lot of blood tithe were spent. But I think that'll wrap up things for us here today, guys. So we hope you enjoyed this battle report as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Peace.